the perfect distraction from the crazy world we live in. Here we go. We're going to get right into it. This is going to be 30 minutes or less guaranteed. Okay, let's talk about some news. The biggest piece of news recently would be Travis Kelce, who was taken in the first round by none other than Dave Wagner, who also got some advice before he picked him from this guy right here. You're welcome, Dave.
Sorry, Dave.
So tell me about Travis Kelce. What's the word on him?
So I believe it was Tuesday at practice, Travis Kelce hyperextended his knee. I'm not sure which knee, but a knee. And that, it's just they play the opening game on Thursday night against the Detroit Lions in Kansas City. They did immediate tests, and the good news is that Travis Kelce's knee has no ACL structural damage. So no ligament damage, no long-term injury.
Right.
But it's a swelling issue from everything that I've heard today. So as long as the swelling can go down in a pain tolerance thing, he's going to play. Like I said, he got hurt 2 days ago. The game is on Thursday, which is tomorrow night. So it's just not enough time, I do think that he's deemed questionable. They're calling him a game-time decision. I don't think he's going to play. But with that being said, that would give him 10 days to get ready for week two,
yes.
which looks good. Looks promising.
Nobody's talking about him missing more than 1 week at this point. So that's good. And he's a tough guy. So if he can play, I think he'll play.
Yeah.
Just got to worry about, is he a decoy? Can he actually do what he usually can do? And that's a whole other subject. Okay, moving on. Joe Burrow with a calf strain. What's the word on him?
The word on Joe Burrow is he practiced today, and I believe Zach Taylor, the head coach of the Bengals, and Joe Burrow both fully believe he's going to play.
Okay, and are you worried about his mobility with the calf strain at all? As a Jamar Chase owner?
I mean, we'll see. I think that, not really, like as far as Chase goes, I think that, Burrow, he's not really a scrambler.
No, he's not.
They have dramatically improved their offensive line from last year.
Yep.
So I think that will help.
Yep. Okay. George Kittle.
Always
injured.
Always injured.
Stays
If you remember, he missed the first 2 weeks of the NFL season last year with a groin strain.
Who has George Kittle?
George Kittle would be owned by none other than the K Slayers.
Oh, K Slay.
And but George Kittle did practice in a limited fashion today.
Good news.
He's trending towards playing week 1.
Okay, this one's crazy. We have Romeo Doubs and Christian Watson on the same day, same injury. Tell me about that.
So both of them pulled up a little gimpy with hamstring injuries.
A little hammy.
So, it's tough to say. Hamstrings vary. It's a soft tissue injury, and it can go anywhere from, being back in a couple days if it's a mild strain with some rest, some ice, to, Keenan Allen had a hamstring strain and missed half the season last year.
Speaking of hamstring, let's talk about the king of the hamstrings, Cooper Kupp.
The king of the hams.
The king of the hams.
So Cooper Kupp is literally hamstrung. He's went to Minnesota to see a specialist, a body specialist. I don't know what that means.
I don't know. It might be an interesting job. I might want to be a body specialist. I don't know.
Yeah, that maybe he rubbed his the
Rubbed
back
it
of
just
his
right.
leg real good.
Yeah.
I don't know. But anyway, they haven't given any definitive information as far as how long he's going to be out.
Okay.
It seems to be the case. He's missing week 1 and beyond. But that's it. I think the quietness surrounding the Cooper Kupp injury isn't good.
Yeah.
I think if they had good news, it would be out there.
So with that, before we moved on to the draft, tell me who you think on that team will step up and be relevant for fantasy with Cooper
On
Kupp being gone.
the Rams,
Yeah.
I think Tyler Higbee.
Tyler Higbee?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Yeah, and I don't think step up like he's
Not
going to.
like Cooper Kupp.
But I just think there's a good connection with Matt Stafford and
Yep.
Higbee.
What do you think about Van Jefferson?
I like Van Jefferson season long, but I just like immediate. I don't know how long Cooper Kupp's going to be out.
Yep.
So for like a short term 2 or 3 week immediate fill in, I think Tyler Higbee's going to be the number one target getter.
Yep.
There.
Okay, let's move into the draft. What a fun time that was. And I'll start off by saying this, that in comparison to last year, the biggest thing that I've noticed, last year it felt very lopsided. It felt like there was about 4 to 5 teams that had drafted well, and when you looked at their teams, you could see a big difference in the bottom half. This year, I noticed that all of the teams seem to be pretty evenly spread, which tells us that because of these awesome podcasts that we do every week, all season long, you guys are learning a lot, so you're welcome.
Everyone's getting better.
Everybody's getting better,
Which
and I'm
is
just
good.
kidding, of course. You guys, there's no absolutes here. There's no right or wrong unless you take Tom Brady in the first round with the first pick. That was wrong. We could say that. So what do you take away from the draft?
Yeah, I agree with that. I think, I do think there's a couple teams that are a little bit stronger than the rest.
Sure.
But I do think that even the worst team is competitive.
Yeah.
And, really the draft is evenly spread out, but it is all about injuries and free agent acquisitions throughout the
That's
year.
the name of the game.
Whoever can do that well,
Yep.
obviously injuries you can't help, but whoever can play the wire and make trades, which by the way is a part of fantasy football.
It is. Don't be scared.
That team is going to hang around. They're going to stay in it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's right. Stay in it all the way to the end, even if you're out of the playoffs. If you got a game going, you beat your opponent. You do what you got to do. No mercy.
You're playing for reputation, for respect.
You're playing for your bronze, silver, gold, or platinum status on
So
Yahoo.
listen, before we go any further,
Here we go.
I have a suggestion,
Okay.
and I cannot take credit for this suggestion.
Okay.
This came from the dual team Flash,
Okay.
James and his son Wesley Fountain.
2 for 1 there.
And their suggestion is the last place prize, the pity trophy.
Yeah.
Is the team that comes in dead last pays for shipping for the trophy.
That's an awesome idea.
Isn't that
This is
genius?
unscripted, by the way. This is the first time hearing it. Yes, that is genius. I vote aye. We got 4 right there. We need 2 more, and that's going to be the rule. So listen, everybody
Message your
vote.
votes.
Vote, message, or comment your vote. Okay, so moving on through the draft, I want to mention this too. If you weren't here, you missed this. But, and this is the second time I did this year, I had Tyreek Hill in my queue. He's the guy I wanted. I'm excited for Tyreek Hill. I think he has potential to be the number 1, number 2, or number 3 top player in fantasy, top receiver. I'm excited about him. I love the guy. I had him in my queue, and I started thinking before the draft started, who's going to be there in my second pick? And I had Devontae Adams clicked, okay? And he was the guy there. And when it came around to me, I was so excited, I just clicked draft. And I didn't notice that it was Devontae Adams. And I spoke out loud, I'm taking Tyreek Hill. And then they said, no, you didn't. You took Devontae Adams. And then I had a choice to make. I could get into my head and draft poorly or not. And although the members around me tried to throw me off my game, I did not allow it to happen. As if you take a look at my team, you can see that yourself. So I want to mention that. I want to mention that. Before we go any further, I'm setting the record straight.
All the people that are watching this podcast that weren't there in person, they would have an argument that is contrary to what you're saying. They believe you chose to select Devontae Adams over all these other stars.
Over all these awesome other stars.
But this is fantasy football.
It
Devontae Adams is going to have a top 5 season.
Dude,
no matter what.
He's in the running to be the best.
He was
a good
the
player.
number 3 wide receiver last year.
I do worry a little bit about Jimmy G, but I would say Jimmy G and what's his name? The other quarterback that they
Derek
tried.
Carr.
Derek Carr are pretty similar and pretty even. I think Derek Carr is, maybe one little tiny notch above, but it is what it is. There's nothing you can't. There's no take backsies here. You click the button. You click the button. You just got to move on.
That's
okay?
right. All right.
All right. So getting further into the draft, highlight some of your favorite picks and some of your least favorite picks as you look through the draft and where people got taken. Some anomalies, some early grabs, some late. What do you see there?
So what I see there, I'll start off with, the double bubble first pick, the last pick of the first round and the first pick of the second round, which was moving on up.
Okay.
He took Stephon Diggs and Bijan Robinson. I think that was excellent. I probably would not have gone another way if I was choosing.
Yeah.
And then the very next pick, which would be the second pick in the second round, pick number 12, Patrick Mahomes. I see that as a bad pick, and I'm a big Patrick Mahomes fan. I believe Patrick Mahomes is the best fantasy football quarterback. I know it's up for debate, but I think he's the best. But I would never take him with the second pick in the second round.
Yeah, it's a little bit early.
With this type of talent on the board, Tony Pollard, Saquon Barkley, CeeDee Lamb, Josh Jacobs, Derrick Henry. I know he went Nick Chubb with his first round pick, but right there, man, you got to go CeeDee Lamb. You got to go even Tony Pollard.
Yes. So looking at Fran's team, now that I'm taking a look at it, with that being said, so very strong at quarterback, possibly the strongest, the best quarterback. Like you said, keeps you in the game every week. But look at his wide receivers: Deebo Samuel, Michael Pittman Jr., Christian Kirk. So you take that early quarterback, and now you're weak in a position where you need 3, maybe 4 guys. So time will tell if it was a good or a bad pick. But according to ADP, he got taken about 20 spots around there, a little bit earlier.
I just think it was
does.
a reach.
Yeah, it definitely was a reach. And, the way that I did it this year, I'm going for the guys I want, and I don't really care about ADP. So I can respect that, but definitely leaves you vulnerable at other positions. So let's move on to K Slayer. I want to talk about the pick of DeAndre Swift. So there is a theory floating around out there within the All in the Family Fantasy Football League that when you, sir, took Jalen Hurts in the 3rd round, that Kevin didn't know what to do. He possibly had a mental breakdown, and you got into his head. Is that true or false?
I cannot confirm or deny that.
Well, the evidence suggests that because he took DeAndre Swift in round 4, where's his ADP usually?
Oh, man, he's got to be around 60.
Okay, so a couple rounds early. The evidence points to the fact that he had to have another Eagle on his team, and he couldn't have Hurts, so he took DeAndre Swift. I don't know if that's true or not, but I think, looking through the draft, that one is a little bit...
That was a massive reach.
Yeah, it's a huge reach.
Yeah.
Okay, anybody else, any other players you want to highlight?
We're just, trying to stick with early picks, late round picks, could go either way. But sticking with the early picks, by that I mean top 5 rounds. The pick that I really do like is at 39, which is the second to the last pick in round 4, Dameon Pierce.
I like that too.
I really like that pick. That Dameon Pierce goes at a spot where it's him, Dobbins, Ken Walker III, Aaron Jones. These running backs, they're good running backs, running back 2s. But, man, I just think Dameon Pierce, out of all of those players, has the best opportunity to finish as a running back.
I agree. Yeah, the only thing, the downside of him is you feel like they're always going to be in a negative game script. But here's the thing, though. In college, he was a pass catcher.
Well, so last year, he conceded 56 targets to Rex Burkhead, who's gone.
Yes.
He's out of the picture. And don't forget, last year, Dameon Pierce missed the last 4 weeks of the regular season.
Right.
and even missing the last 4 weeks of the regular season, still finished with 30-plus receptions.
Yes. So the potential, we have possibly not seen all that he can do thus far. I completely agree. I love Dameon Pierce. I traded for him last year in this league, and I think he's got a bright future. So let's look through. I'll tell you one pick that I do like a lot is I like Breece Hall in round 6. I'm not sure what his ADP is.
It's about right there.
Okay, well, either way, I feel like he kind of was lingering there for quite a while. This says according to this, he's taken around the 4-5 turn. So, that's like a round late. So that's a pretty good pick.
Yeah.
Anybody else you want to take a look at and see? Ooh, what about Justin Fields at the end of the 6th? That's a pretty good pick there, too.
I thought that was a great pick by first
late.
crack.
Yep.
And also the Leatherheads getting Justin Herbert in the middle of the 7th
Yeah,
round.
that's huge. Dude, I mean, the thing with Justin Herbert is last year, in week 1 or 2, he injured his thumb, right?
Yeah, his ribs.
His ribs, and then he lost Keenan Allen, and then he lost Mike Williams.
Yeah.
So, I mean, everybody knows what he did his rookie year and the year after. So he could finish quarterback 1, 2, 3.
He could.
You know what I mean?
I think
that's
he will.
a steal.
I think he will.
I could definitely see it.
Yep.
Okay. Is there anything else? Did you want to talk about the quarterback thing? We talked about that, right, with Mahomes going?
Yeah, I just think Mahomes went a little bit early.
Yep.
When we started what wasn't at that time, but has become the All in the Family Fantasy Football League, started about 6 years ago. When we started, it was rare for a quarterback to be drafted higher than round 5.
Yeah. Everybody.
And that's when you were getting, before Lamar Jackson came on the scene, it was Brady, it was Drew Brees,
Right.
guys like that. Yeah. And you were getting them in round 5. You could even hold out and get a decent top 10 quarterback in round 8.
Yeah, that's what I used to do.
You have the big 3, which is Mahomes, Josh Allen, and Jalen Hurts.
/ Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, even Lamar, but you're not getting those guys after round 4. No shot to get any of them.
Exactly.
So if you want a quarterback now, I think fantasy football players are hip to what goes on. The top point scorers are quarterbacks.
They are.
And if you have the best quarterback, you're in every game.
Yeah.
So
100%.
we will do our best to make you forget that by next August.
I do want to say one thing about Mark Scaramuzzi personally. I had this observation when I looked over his team. Last year, you drafted a lot of players, and a lot of players got injured. This year, you drafted a lot of injured players.
They can only go up.
Yeah. Well, his name is moving on up, so it appears that he's trying to do some reverse psychiatry. Also, according to his team, he must have a low view of his team because he's trying to move up. Where are you trying to move up from? We all start at the same point, Mark. Come on, Mark. I don't know if reverse psychiatry works on fantasy football. I guess time will tell. Okay, so now we're going to move into the Super Bowl pick. Who are you predicting to go to the Super Bowl and win this year?
So this year I am predicting the Cincinnati Bengals to go to the Super Bowl, and they are going to play against the Philadelphia Eagles.
Of course they are. And who's going to win that game?
And the Cincinnati Bengals are going to beat the Eagles in the Super Bowl. Man. Yeah. The Eagles are going to make it 2 years in a row. The Eagles are young. They're going to only get better and better, and then next year, I believe the Eagles are going to make it to the Super Bowl for a 3rd year in a row and win.
Wow.
But this year, I think it's going to be the Bengals and the Eagles, and I think the Bengals are going to come out on top.
Mine's similar. I got the Eagles and the Bills going, and I think that the Eagles are going to win. I think the Bills, they got a new tight end who's real sexy, first-round tight end.
I can
they
see
got
that.
a sexy running back by the name of James Cook, brother of Dalvin Cook. Don't know if you've heard of him or not. So I think
backup running back to Brees Hall.
yeah, right. So I think that the Bills have a shot, and I don't want to pick the Eagles because I don't want to put the Maloinks on them. But
so
man,
pick them to lose.
No, I'm picking them to win. They're so good, though. The Eagles are so good. Okay, and is there anything else that you want to mention before we move on to our final announcement?
Let's just really quick give a quick week one who's playing who.
Okay, yeah.
So Christmas Money is going up against Fran's third team. And new to this league is Fran Smith.
Yes.
He's been in a couple of our leagues. He was in our Last Chance League, Keeper League last year.
Did he win last year?
He won, First year ever playing fantasy football. Won the title. So he's in that again. We invited him into this league. This is kind of like varsity. That league's junior varsity.
True.
But so anyway, Fran is new to the league. I'm playing him. My team's Christmas Money. And then Philly Special, that's Justin, is going up against In to Win. And it looks like the Philly Special's luck has turned the corner for the better.
Maybe.
Because he is playing In to Win, who drafted in the first round Travis Kelce, who hyperextended and bone bruised his knee.
Sorry, Dave. It's a shame. Yep. Okay, so then we got Dirt McGirt and Nikkei Slay.
Yep. Dirt McGirt, that's Dave Sarlo versus Kevin Cavallero, the K-Slayers. And then we have Battle of Lubeck.
Yes.
The Leatherheads versus the First Crack. The Battle of Lubeck.
That's so funny.
Yep, so we'll see which one of them shakes out.
I did want to say this, too, about Sean's team. I think Sean drafted very, very well, with one exception. He drafted Tyreek Hill in the first round and Waddle in the third, I think.
Yeah, that's right.
So, it could go either way. I mean, they're both exceptional.
He has a
receivers.
good starting lineup.
Dude, he has a great team. He really does.
Yeah, he has a good starting lineup. So
really,
this is
really
the
does.
best team Sean Tinker's ever put out there.
Hands down. Definitely.
And then what's the last matchup?
The last matchup is moving on up. Mark Scaramuzzi versus Team Flash. That is James Fountain and Wes Fountain. Co-managed, right?
Okay, awesome. So Mark Scaramuzzi is rolling out Danny Dimes, Juju Smith-Schuster. I'm Juju, and I'm old.
He's so old.
Brandon Cooks.
Man, what are you doing, man? I didn't even notice that.
Mark will probably win.
Yeah, he probably will. He's got some old, banged up guys.
Bags. But anyway, we'll see. He does have a decent bench. He's got a couple guys hurt. He's got Kupp and Kamara coming back in a few weeks.
Yeah, Romeo
he can win one of these.
Dude, he's already got it injured. He's got Romeo Dobbs.
Yeah. Man,
the season hasn't even started yet. Yeah, if he can stay in these first 4 weeks or whatever, man, with Kupp and Kamara come back and Kamara has a little bit left in the tank, his team could be really good.
Yeah. So anyway, we'll see. This year we're not going to be trying to pump out content. This year we're going to do. I think we agreed to 5 podcasts. This being the first of 5, and then we would do another one.
4 weeks.
Yeah, another one at the end of September or early October. And then basically monthly, we're going to do a Thanksgiving special and then one to cap off the season. So why don't you talk a little bit about our Thanksgiving special?
So for the last 2 years, we have had, and it's kind of been thrown together last minute, which kind of puts a blanket on the potential of what this could be. So we're going to have the first annual All in the Family Turkey Bowl. It's going to be a $50 daily fantasy thing on FanDuel, and basically it's going to be, if you did it last year, it's going to be Thanksgiving days only, $50,000 or whatever it is salary cap, so everybody can pick from the same pool of players. It's not a draft, and it's going to be $50, and I don't know, depending on how many people we get, will be the payout. It can be 2 people, it could be 50 people, it doesn't matter. The more the merrier, the more money that goes. But we've done this every year, and we want to make it a new tradition. every year on Thanksgiving, as many people as we can to do this tournament style daily fantasy, and I think it'll be a lot of fun. So we're rolling that out. Put it in your calendar. Put some money aside. I know inflation's high. Start saving now, so that everybody can do the first annual All in the Family Turkey Bowl.
Okay, guys, good luck in week 1, good luck in month 1, and we'll see you in about 4 weeks.